So the standard thing that we always hear, red wine, room temperature. Well, rooms can be 100 degrees, right? In Vegas, if you didn't have air conditioning on, a room could be 120 degrees. But rooms come in all temperatures, so what we actually want is 60 to 70 degrees, which would be a European cellar temperature year-round. So that's what we want. For red wines, we want 60 to 70 degrees. If you store your wines at a proper temperature, then your red wine would not be chilled prior to service, because the proper holding temperature for wine, red or white, is 55 to 65. So if you're holding it properly, 55 to 65, then by the time the guest gets it, it's going to be 60 to 70, which would be fine. White wine is served at 42 to 45. So remember those three temperatures. Red wine, 60 to 70. Holding temperature 55 to 65, and white wine 42 to 45. To ensure the wine's been properly stored, the wait person should be the first one to check the cork. So what do they do in a restaurant? The waiter opens the bottle, hands you the cork. Well, that's telling you, I don't know what it smells like, I haven't checked it myself, but you let me know. So what we'd rather have is the wait person. Might be a sommelier, might just be a waiter. Smells the cork, smells okay, then you hand it to the guest, and then you're saying, it seems fine to me, you tell me. You should let red wine breathe before serving it, meaning what? You let it sit uncorked, because oxygen brings out the flavor. So you let it breathe, let it get some oxygen in there, and then it will taste better. So that means that for white wine you can just pull the cork and start drinking. For red wine you should pull the cork and let it sit for a while and let the oxygen get in there to bring out the flavors. Wine glasses. So what are these? What kind of a wine glass is that? What kind of wine would you put in that? That would be a red wine. It's rounder, wider bowl, helps to direct the wine's bouquet to the nose. The bouquet is the smell. So you stick your nose in it, and that would bring the bouquet right up to your nose. What kind of a wine glass is that? That's a balloon wine glass. Allows aged or older red wine to breathe more effectively. What kind of glass is that? That would be a white wine. Often have a much smaller mouth to preserve the flavor. Why do you need to know this stuff? Because if you don't serve the proper wine glass, somebody's going to get mad at you. What's that? That would be a sherry glass, shaped like a tulip. Narrow, tapered bowl. You put sherry in that. And that, obviously from the bottle, is a champagne glass, a tulip or flute. Resembles a tulip bulb at the top, which helps preserve the bubbles in the champagne. Zinfandel dominates California because it's the most extensively planted red grape in California, if not the most recognized. I can tell you that's the truth. I just a couple of days ago spent 4 days in Napa and Sonoma County, California, and Zinfandel is all over it. I wish my wife liked Zinfandel, because I bought a case of the president's favorite. She doesn't like it too much, but I think it's great. So Zinfandel you would find all over California. Zinfandel is known for hitting you with its spicy, robust berry flavors and has a terrific dark purple-red color. If a winemaker decides to remove the skins quickly from the juice after pressing, he will make white wine. That's the difference between white and red wine, is how long the juice sits in the skins. Pouring beer with a nice head, which is the foam on top, allows flavors to be released and carbon dioxide is dispersed, so there's reduced bloating that occurs to the drinker. Plus a small head means more beer, so it costs you more to serve. So you want a nice head. So the Miller beer commercial used to be less filling, more taste. So it does. It releases the flavor and it's less filling. The carbon dioxide being released gives you less bloating. The proper holding temperature for draft beer is 36 to 38 degrees. This is holding temperature in a keg. To avoid excessive suds or beer remaining in the keg, keep the pressure between 12 to 14 pounds. So remember that 36 to 38 is the holding temperature for draft beer. And remember that the pressure is 12 to 14 pounds. So if you've been at the picnic and you're pumping it up to get the beer out, if you don't have enough pressure, then the beer won't come out. Let's review a little food safety. The danger zone is what? That's where bacteria grow the best. And the danger zone is 41 to 135, meaning the food has to be either colder than 41 or below, or it has to be 135 or above on the hot side. It's freezing. 32 is the same as 0 centigrade. So 32 Fahrenheit and 0 centigrade are the same. Keep in mind that the highest acceptable temperature in the freezer is 0. It must be 0 or below. Proper cooking temperatures, 165 is for what? Poultry, leftovers, and stuffed meats. 155, ground meat, needle tenderized beef. 145, eggs, fish, beef, pork, basically whatever is not in the 155, 165 is in the 145. And then 130 for rare roast beef or pork. But if you do that, you need to keep it at 130 for 112 minutes, at which point the bugs give up. Otherwise, for the 165, 155, 145, it's 15 seconds. So 165 poultry, leftover, stuffed meats, 155 ground meat and needle tenderized, and 145 for eggs, fish, beef, and pork. Thawed food products are not permitted to exceed 41 degrees for more than 4 hours. That's cumulative, whether it's on the loading dock, in the prep table, or on the serving line. They can't be in the danger zone for more than 4 hours. When using hot water to sanitize dishware, the temperature needs to be at least 180 degrees. Now, I will grant you in the food safety lecture we said 171 degrees. But in the book for the management one, it's 180, so we'll go for this test with 180. For your available answers, I don't think there's a problem. There's only one answer that's over 171 or 170. So again, in the food safety class, we learned 171. For whatever reason from the book that this information came from, it's 180, and that's what's on the test. With food safety in mind, you should quickly put hot, unserved food items in a refrigerator. Don't let them sit before putting them away. Get them chilled pronto. Freeze-dried food reduces the chance of a foodborne illness. Freeze-drying food reduces the chance of a foodborne illness. If your establishment does not have a dishwasher, a 3-compartment sink to wash, rinse, and sanitize glassware and other utensils should be utilized. Dry storage should be maintained between 50 and 70 degrees. You need to know your conversions both for the test and for life every once in a while. So How many tablespoons are there? How many teaspoons are there in a tablespoon? Is 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon. 6 teaspoons equals how many ounces? 1 ounce. So 2 tablespoons or 6 teaspoons is 1 ounce. How many ounces are there in a gallon? 128. This test definitely checks out your math abilities, so that's why we're going through all this. And some of it you need on the test, and some of it you need in life, and some of it is just to test your brain, I guess. 1 gallon is how many teaspoons? So if there's 6 teaspoons in an ounce, and there's 128 ounces in a gallon, simple math tells you 768 teaspoons in a gallon. How many cups in a gallon? How many ounces in a cup? 8. How many ounces in a gallon? 128. So there's 16 cups in a gallon. And this is the brain teaser here. 1 cup. How many tablespoons? 16 tablespoons in a cup. There's 8 ounces in a cup times 6 teaspoons in an ounce equals 48 teaspoons divided by 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon equals 16 tablespoons. And in 1 gallon, how many tablespoons are there? 256. Because if there's 16 in a cup, and there's 16 cups in a gallon, that would be 16 times 16 would be 256. Just put this on hold and stare at that for a while.